It's the ultimate fighting sport. A modern combat style with ancient roots that span the globe. It's called mixed martial arts, or MMA.
We're going on a journey to explore the unique history of this hyper-violent sport. Along the way, we'll learn some of MMA's most time-honored techniques and train with its most legendary fighters. Then, we'll step inside the octagon and go toe-to-toe with two fighting machines in a full-blown MMA bout.
Trying to teach this pretty boy a lesson.
Let's go, let's get it on.
There are hundreds of distinct fighting styles in the world. They are practiced in every nation and by every people. Now, Jason Chambers, a mixed martial artist and professional fighter, and Bill Duff, a former pro football player and wrestler, are embarked on a mission to explore the history and techniques of these incredible martial arts. And at the end of each journey, one of these two warriors will face the ultimate test. They'll try to survive a real fight with a true human weapon.
We've come to sunny Los Angeles, the mecca of the mixed martial arts world. In just over a decade, this hybrid fighting form has evolved from an underground blood sport into a worldwide phenomenon.
Round 1 is underway in this super fight.
With just under 24,000 professionals in 2,500 leagues around the world, MMA has surpassed boxing and pro wrestling in popularity.
It's also surpassed them in punishment. MMA doesn't limit itself to one technique, and fighters can hurt their opponents in a variety of ways. With punches, kicks, and knee strikes, rooted in arts like Muay Thai, Karate, and Savate.
If these stand-up tactics don't work, you can slam your opponent to the mat using takedowns derived from Judo, Sambo, and Greco-Roman wrestling. Or you can force your opponent to tap out using jiu-jitsu style submissions that date back to the samurai warriors. In MMA, it doesn't matter where the move comes from. If it works, you use it.
Our journey to explore the history of this brutal world begins at Big John McCarthy's Ultimate Training Academy.
There you go. Stand that. There you go. Yeah, get in there. Drop him with that right.
There, we witness an intense training match inside a full-sized MMA octagon.
There you go. Nice. Now use that. Stay on it. Wheel it in now. Come on, suck it in. Suck it in.
Watching along with us was MMA legend Boss Root.
Stay on that. There we go.
Uh-oh, this could be it. Yep, good.
Boss is a black belt in both karate and judo, a brutal kickboxer, and savage wrestler. He's 28-4 with 25 wins by knockout or submission. Boss has won titles in just about every mixed martial arts organization on the planet.
Now, he had a challenge for us.
Are you ready for this? Because that is what you guys are going to do. Bill?
That looks like fun.
Yeah.
I saw wrestling, I saw Muay Thai, I saw boxing in there. What else is involved in mixed martial arts?
Pain.
A lot of pain, yeah. And we're going to work with some other fighters, professional fighters, and they're going to help you with kicking, with grappling, with submission.
At the end of our journey, we'd be stepping into this cage and going head-to-head in a 3-round bout against 2 of the sport's toughest fighters.
Do you want to know who you're going to face?
Absolutely.
All right.
The guy Boss has for me is Rico Rodriguez, a 300-pound black belt in jiu-jitsu. Rico's a former heavyweight UFC champ and gold medal winner at the Abu Dhabi Combat Club submission tournament. Considering I've never stepped foot in an octagon, I'll be lucky if I come out of this fight alive, let alone with a victory.
Rico Rodriguez!
Not that I was going to get off any easier. I'll be fighting Connor Hume, a former college wrestler and a rising star in the International Fight League. I've had more than 20 professional MMA fights, but it's been a while since I've rolled with a guy like Connor.
So I get an ex-champ and you get an undefeated fighter.
It's perfect.
We've definitely got our work cut out for us. And that work starts on the other side of LA, in the town of Fullerton at Eric Paulson's Combat Submission Wrestling Training Center. Here, we'll train with a modern-day fighter whose style invokes some of the oldest martial arts in the world. He's the baby-faced assassin, Josh Barnett.
Good to see you.
See, Josh,
Well, traffic wasn't too bad.
Famous for his slams, his ground fighting, and his take-no-prisoners attitude, Josh is the current world pancrase champion, Japan's preeminent MMA league. Josh explained that MMA competitions evolved from a lot of different sources.
You had pancration, you had old-time pro wrestling, you had shooting and shoot wrestling in Japan, which has now branched off into MMA as we know it here in the United States and all throughout the world.
Prior to the late 1800s, most martial arts operated independent of outside influence. As colonial empires began to span the globe, fighters around the world started asking the big question: which martial art and martial artist was truly the best?
The guys that watched the Kung Fu films and boxing and all the different stuff and wanted to see what would happen when one guy of one style, like Kung Fu, would fight another guy, say boxing, who would win out of the two of them?
Josh believed that the best way to win was by taking your opponent to the ground and pounding him into submission. To do that, he showed us the double leg takedown, a move that dates back to ancient Greece. It's the same one that was employed by Spartans against the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae 2,500 years ago.
Since most MMA fights start on their feet but end on the ground, the double leg is the perfect move to jumpstart our training. It begins with the fighter dropping low, knees bent.
Change, get into my strong shooting position.
The fighter shoots off his lead leg, making contact with his opponent's midsection and wrapping his arms around his upper thighs.
I want you to drop right here and hit right to the hip.
The fighter then uses the upward thrust of the hips to lift his opponent into the air.
Now I can easily go into my lift.
And slam him hard to the mat.
Drive sideways. Boom. Nice. But to get any of that to work, it starts with good position and good drive.
The key to the double is to hit your opponent below his rib cage, which knocks him off his center of gravity. Wrapping your arms around his legs prevents him from regaining it. Your forward momentum, coupled with the upward thrust of your hips, gets your opponent airborne. Driving him to the mat can yield over 3,000 pounds of injury-producing force. That's like dropping a 20-pound bag of cement off a 9-foot ladder onto someone's chest.
Go, bang. Nice. Good, get me moving. Now drive across to the side. And that's finishing your double, but you landed on your hip.
Is that bad?
That is horrible. Now hold on, Bill.
I was having trouble with the techniques of the double leg, so Josh put it in terms I was more familiar with.
Whether we take a knee or not, were you offensive or defensive lineman?
Defensive.
You don't tackle a guy this way.
No.
You don't shed a block that way. You got to be in position first.